Being the reliable man may be the reason you are still poor. You solve every emergency. You accept extra responsibility. You stay when other people leave. You make yourself available because you believe usefulness will eventually become power. But usefulness without ownership does not make you powerful. It makes you convenient. The company grows because of your reliability. Your boss gains time because of your reliability. Your co-workers protect their energy because of your reliability. And you remain dependent on the same system you keep rescuing. The most dangerous employee is not the lazy man. It is the capable man who spends his strongest years becoming indispensable to a structure he does not control. There is a reason reliable men are given more work before they are given more power. There is a reason loyalty is praised most loudly by the people who profit from receiving it. And there is a reason the man who keeps the machine alive can remain poorer than the man who decides where the machine goes. The hidden mechanism is not effort. It is ownership. Fail to understand that distinction, and your discipline becomes free labor. Your loyalty becomes permanent access. Your competence becomes another man's leverage. Your sacrifice becomes the system's expectation. One day, you look back and realize that you helped everyone build security except yourself. Daymond John understood this before Fubu became a recognized company. He was not free. He had bills. He did not have the capital, staff, or infrastructure of an established fashion company. So he continued working at Red Lobster while building FUBU outside the job. Look carefully at what he did. He did not confuse employment with destiny. He divided his labor into two categories. One category paid for the present. The other built control over the future. The restaurant received his time, but it did not receive all of his ambition. It did not receive ownership of every useful hour he possessed. It did not consume the energy required to build his exit. His job was not his kingdom. It was temporary infrastructure. Millions of men work hard. Millions remain dependent. The difference is not always intensity. The difference is whether any part of that intensity creates something the worker can keep. Your job can finance your construction. It should not consume every hour required to escape it. This is where the reliable man makes his first strategic mistake. He believes he has entered an agreement that no one else remembers signing. The agreement sounds like this: if I accept enough pressure, remain loyal enough, solve enough problems, and prove that I can be trusted, they will eventually recognize my value. But what does the organization actually see? Does it see sacrifice? Or does it see a resource that can absorb more pressure without demanding new terms? Every repeated action teaches the people around you how to treat your time. Every time you accept responsibility without negotiation, you teach them that negotiation is unnecessary. Every time you repair another person's poor planning, you reduce the cost of that person's failure. Every time you perform work above your role without documenting it, you make additional labor disappear into the normal operation of the system. Every time you cancel your plans to protect theirs, you show them whose time has the lower price. The reliable man rarely enters this trap because he is weak. He enters through pride. He wants to be known as the man who can handle anything. He wants to be trusted. He wants to be needed. Perhaps he learned early that usefulness was the safest path to belonging. Perhaps praise arrived when he solved problems, remained silent, carried pressure, or made life easier for everyone else. So he became the man everyone calls when pressure arrives. At first, this feels like status. People depend on him. Managers praise him. Co-workers say the operation would collapse without him. But look at what is often missing: authority, compensation, ownership, credit, time, options. He receives emotional recognition while the structure keeps the economic reward. He is told he is essential, but his salary remains controlled by someone else. He is told he is trusted, but important decisions happen without him. He is told the company needs him, but he has no savings, no external proof, no public reputation, and no credible alternative. This is dependence disguised as importance. Machiavelli wrote, "Men never behave well unless compelled." This does not mean every employer is malicious. It means systems respond to incentives more reliably than they respond to unspoken moral expectations. Your manager may appreciate you and still benefit from keeping you exactly where you are. Your company may praise your loyalty and still delay the raise you expected. Your co-workers may admire your competence while continuing to send their unfinished work toward you. Gratitude does not remove incentive. The false contract is exposed by one question: what forces the other side to reward you? Documented results, market scarcity, an external offer, control of valuable relationships, a difficult skill, revenue you can prove, authority attached to responsibility, a credible willingness to leave. Without one of these, the reward remains voluntary, and voluntary rewards are easily delayed. If this is exposing a pattern you have lived, like this video, subscribe to the channel and write one sentence in the comments: "My reliability has cost me." Then finish that sentence with the truth: time, money, credit, health, or options. Naming the cost is the first step toward ending the pattern. Now stop thinking like the good soldier who hopes the court notices his service. Think like a strategist who knows what his service costs, what it produces, and what terms must change before more of it is given. Reliability is a virtue, but an unpriced virtue becomes a public utility. This brings us to the distinction most hard-working men never learn. A useful man solves problems. A powerful man controls what happens because he solved them. Two men can create the same value. One remains underpaid. The other converts his contribution into reputation, authority, relationships, and ownership. Why? Because value creation and value capture are different games. The useful man asks, "What needs to be done?" The strategic man asks more dangerous questions. How will this be measured? Who will know I did it? What authority comes with this responsibility? What skill am I gaining? What relationship am I strengthening? What changes in my position after I succeed? What remains mine when the project ends? Machiavelli wrote, "He who is the cause of another becoming powerful is ruined." His warning concerned rulers who strengthened forces that later threatened them. The modern lesson is narrower, but it remains severe. Do not repeatedly increase another person's power while neglecting your own capacity for independent action. When your labor raises your supervisor's status but leaves you with no proof, your dependence grows. When your reliability allows someone else to promise more without giving you greater authority, that person's reputation expands while your workload expands. When you train everyone but gain no title, documented process, or negotiated recognition, you create power that can be detached from you. Your contribution may be real. Your control over its consequences may be zero. Usefulness becomes power only when it changes at least one of 5 things: your price, your authority, your reputation, your ownership, or your alternatives. If your additional contribution changes none of these, you did not build leverage. You donated capacity. That truth should disturb you because it exposes the difference between being busy and becoming stronger. The reliable man asks to be recognized. The strategic man builds a position from which recognition changes terms. One wants people to admit his value. The other makes ignoring his value expensive. But even before the system denies you a reward, reliability extracts another price. It taxes the time and energy required to build anything outside the system. Every emergency you absorb protects the organization from consequences. But someone still pays. Usually, it is you. A last-minute rescue does not cost only the hour recorded on the clock. It costs the future work that hour displaced, the skill you did not practice, the relationship you did not build, the case study you did not document, the recovery you did not receive, the product you did not finish, the savings plan you did not review, the clear thought you never had because your attention was fragmented by someone else's urgency. The system receives immediate value. You receive a future promise. The company receives the rescued client today. You receive the possibility of recognition later. The team receives a completed project today. You receive another conversation about patience later. Your manager receives protection from failure today. You receive another reason to wait. One side receives certainty. The other receives hope. The reliable man often confuses intensity with strategy. He moves faster. He sleeps less. He accepts more. He responds immediately. His effort is furious. But fury does not determine direction. Discipline determines what receives your best hours. Discipline means refusing to let another person's lack of preparation automatically become your priority. Discipline means protecting time for the capabilities that increase your future range of action. Discipline means understanding that every reserve of strength you reveal will eventually attract a claim unless you decide what that strength is for. Daymond John's lesson was not merely that he endured pressure. It was that he directed part of that pressure toward proof, product, sales, market response, a brand people could see. He did not wait for the restaurant to finance his freedom emotionally. He used the job to finance survival, while his remaining labor constructed ownership. Your calendar reveals the real owner of your future. If every unclaimed hour can be seized by your employer, co-workers, clients, family, phone, or social circle, then your ambition has no protected territory. You do not need more desire. You need jurisdiction over your attention. And this is where reliability becomes more dangerous than exhaustion. Once the system depends on you in the wrong place, your usefulness can become the very reason it refuses to move you. Some men are not promoted despite being valuable. They are not promoted because they are valuable in the wrong place. When no one else knows the process, when only you can calm the difficult client, when you are the only person who can repair the recurring failure, you may believe your position is secure. It may be a cage. Moving you creates a problem. Leaving you where you are solves one. The system may reward your competence by preserving your confinement. This is how the indispensable employee becomes trapped. He knows the hidden procedures. He corrects failures before senior leadership sees them. He accepts responsibilities outside his role. He stores critical knowledge inside his memory instead of converting it into visible systems. He becomes operationally essential and strategically invisible. He is the human shock absorber. When pressure reaches the organization, he absorbs it before it reaches the people with more authority. Weak employees remain weak because he covers the gap. Poor processes remain poor because he compensates for them. Bad planning survives because he transforms it into acceptable results. His competence hides the cost of incompetence around him. Then he makes the trap worse. He protects his unique knowledge because he believes secrecy creates security. But if the current role cannot function without him, management must solve that problem before moving him anywhere else. If he never trains a replacement, documents the process, distributes knowledge, or removes recurring emergencies, he spends years proving that his best use is exactly where he already stands. The strategic answer is not to become less valuable. It is to change the category of your value. Become replaceable in the task. Become difficult to replace in capability. Document the process. Train other people. Automate repeated work where possible. Build systems that continue without your direct presence. Then retain the higher level capacity. Judgment. Client trust. technical mastery, strategic communication, commercial understanding, the ability to improve systems instead of merely surviving them. The man who hoards tasks protects a position. The man who builds systems demonstrates leadership. Stop trying to become the only man who can carry the weight. Become the man who can redesign how the weight is carried. But even excellent systems can remain invisible, because organizations do not respond only to reality. They respond to the version of reality they can see. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand." In political life, appearances reach more people than direct knowledge. In professional life, the scale is smaller, but the mechanism remains. Senior leaders may never see the difficult conversation that saved the account. They see the final number. They may never see who designed the process. They see the person presenting it. They may never know who prevented the crisis. They see that no crisis occurred. Invisible prevention creates a brutal paradox. The better you perform it, the less visible the danger becomes. Then people assume the work was easy. The reliable man often believes that communicating his contribution is vanity. He stays silent because he expects good work to speak for itself. Good work does not always speak for itself. Sometimes another person speaks for it. Sometimes another person presents it. Sometimes another person receives the authority created by it. Steve Jobs helped create Apple. He helped shape its products, identity, and mythology. Yet when conflict with the leadership intensified, the board had the authority to remove him from the company he had helped build. Creation did not guarantee control. Past contribution did not guarantee protection. Historical importance did not override the structure governing the company. Jobs later built NXT. Apple eventually acquired NXT, and he returned with technology the company needed. He did not return because the system suddenly developed gratitude. He returned with independent leverage. The lesson is not that every man must become a founder. The lesson is that contribution alone does not determine control. The structure through which contribution is measured, owned, communicated, and governed matters. Your work needs an evidence trail. Record the condition that existed before you acted. Record the problem. Record your intervention. Measure the result. Identify your role. Preserve lawful evidence. Know who can verify the outcome. Do not manufacture importance. Make real importance impossible to erase. At the end of an important project, you should be able to answer 5 questions. What existed before I became involved? What action did I take? What measurable change followed? Who can verify it? How does this result travel with me? If you cannot answer those questions, your achievement may disappear when your access to the company disappears. And this reveals another uncomfortable truth. Many reliable men feel powerful inside an organization and powerless the moment they step outside it. That is not power. That is borrowed position. Remove the title. Remove the company email. Remove the internal contacts. Remove access to the employer's reputation, clients, software, and budget. What remains? Machiavelli repeatedly warned rulers against depending on forces they did not control. He wrote, "The wise prince has always avoided these arms and turned to his own." Your own arms are not hostility toward employers or co-workers. They are the resources that remain when institutional permission is withdrawn. A skill you can sell elsewhere. Results you can legally prove. Relationships that know your character beyond one employer. Savings that give you time to refuse bad terms. A reputation attached to your name. An audience or distribution channel you control. A product, method, or asset you own. The ability to generate opportunities without waiting for one gatekeeper. Most reliable men build only internal capital. They learn systems unique to one company. They become experts in one manager's preferences. They collect praise that cannot be verified beyond the department. They build relationships that disappear when the organizational chart changes. They mistake proximity to power for possession of power. But internal importance is fragile. A merger can erase it. A new manager can reinterpret it. A restructuring can relocate it. Automation can reduce it. A budget decision can ignore it. Machiavelli wrote, "Fortune is the arbiter of one half of our actions, but leaves us to direct the other half." You cannot control every economic downturn. You can control whether you have savings. You cannot control every restructuring. You can control whether your skills remain current. You cannot control whether a manager leaves. You can control whether your reputation exists beyond that manager. You cannot control every change in the market. You can control whether you have been watching where the market is moving. Every month, your work should create at least one portable gain, a quantified result, a case study, a stronger technical skill, a stronger commercial skill, a valuable relationship, an increase in savings, a visible piece of credibility, a process you own or are legally allowed to reproduce, an asset that does not require every hour of your presence. The question is simple. What belongs to me now that did not belong to me before I performed this work? If the answer is nothing, then the month may have been busy, but it did not make you stronger. If you are the kind of man who is serious about building leverage, stop confusing content consumption with construction. You already know that effort is not enough. Your real problem is turning insight into a repeatable operating system. If you keep collecting ideas without converting them into proof, savings, skills, and owned assets, another year will disappear while your position remains unchanged. Inside Patreon, you get deeper private frameworks, practical exercises, and unfiltered strategic analysis so you can convert these principles into measurable power. This is not for spectators searching for motivation. It is for men prepared to build. The decision is yours. Independent strength changes the way you handle boundaries. The reliable man often protects affection at the expense of respect. He says yes because he does not want to disappoint people. Then he wonders why they feel entitled to his time. A boundary is not a sentence. A boundary is a sentence supported by consequence. If you say that you cannot accept another last-minute request, then accept it again, your actions have announced the real policy. If you say a responsibility is outside your role, then continue performing it without authority, recognition, or compensation. You have taught the organization that your objection has no price. People believe enforcement, not speeches. The purpose of a professional boundary is not aggression. It is to make cost visible. Instead of saying, "I cannot do this," say, "I can complete the current priority by Friday." Adding this request moves the original deadline to Tuesday. Which result should take priority? Now the cost returns to the decision maker. Instead of silently carrying a new responsibility, say, "I have handled this responsibility for 3 months." Before it becomes permanent, we need to define the authority, title, compensation, and success measures attached to it. Now, invisible sacrifice becomes formal negotiation. Instead of repeatedly rescuing the same failure, say, "I can resolve this emergency today." Afterward, we need a process that prevents the same problem from returning to me. Now, rescue becomes the beginning of correction, not the creation of a ritual. Do not become unreliable. Become reliable under defined terms. Do not use aggression to create fear. Use consistency to create respect. A man whose no can always be converted into yes does not have a boundary. He has a delay. Boundaries protect your present. A private operating system protects your future. Create 3 ledgers. The first is the value ledger. Record the measurable value you produce. Revenue generated. Costs reduced. Time saved. Errors prevented. Clients retained. Clients retained. Processes improved. People trained. Do not write that you helped with an important project. Write what changed because you were involved. The second is the proof ledger. For every claim, preserve lawful and ethical evidence. Approved reports. Performance reviews. Public project links. Written acknowledgement of results. Metrics you are authorized to retain. Testimonials. Certifications. Names of people who can verify your contribution. Do not remove confidential material. Do not violate contracts or privacy. Your objective is not to steal information. Your objective is to ensure that legitimate achievements do not disappear when your access ends. The third is the leverage ledger. Ask what became portable. Did you gain a transferable skill? Did you increase your savings? Did you strengthen your reputation? Did you build a relationship outside one chain of command? Did you create an owned asset? Did you receive an external offer? This ledger exposes the difference between activity and accumulation. A man can produce enormous value while gaining almost no leverage. Review these ledgers every month. If value rises but proof does not, improve documentation. If proof rises but leverage does not, convert evidence into negotiation, reputation, relationships, or opportunity. If leverage does not rise for several months, your work is consuming you without strengthening you. Then prepare to leave from strength. Do not rage quit. Anger is not leverage. Build savings. Build market evidence. Build stronger skills. Build external relationships. Build alternative offers. Then make a controlled transition. A weak exit is emotional. A strong exit is prepared. Reliability is not the enemy. Reliability without proof, boundaries, alternatives, and ownership is the enemy. If your word leaves you with no skill, no evidence, no savings, no relationships, and no asset, you are not building power. You are donating capacity. Stop measuring your life by how many people depend on you. Measure it by whether your future can depend on you. If this video gave language to a truth you have been living, like it, subscribe, and share it with the man who is praised for being dependable while quietly losing control of his own future. Then leave one honest comment. What are you building now that will still belong to you when the job, title, and applause are gone? Your answer will reveal whether you are merely reliable or finally becoming free.